the vice speaker's staff. If I had her number, I'd just call her directly, but you got to go through the staff. So hopefully she'll be able to call in. But the fireworks yesterday, I don't know if it was fireworks really, but Minority Leader Telo, just good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Chris, and good morning, Sabrina. And yes, you read my mind. Oh, I love that song. I haven't heard that song in a long time.
I got to say, I'm not trying to offend any Hawaiians, but poi is gross. I don't know what the deal is with people liking poi. I tried it when I was in Hawaii one time. No, sorry. Nope.
Ooh, Dr. Shea would be mad.
Yeah, and I lived in Hawaii for 3 years, and I tried it once and
that was it.
Stomach the rest of it. Nope, that was it.
One hit a quitter.
One hit a quitter.
Okay, so Senator, let's just go back. Was this really? Was it a long day? Everybody's stressed, and you used a word that the vice speaker didn't like, which was a bargain.
Yeah, exactly. And then she had to, during that whole fiasco, or the point of personal privilege that the speaker uses so, on every single thing she wants to make a point out.
What is that? Sorry, I'm sorry. Can we just? What is point of personal privilege? I'm naive about the procedural stuff.
Okay, is basically in the Mason's manual that states that when a senator has a point of personal privilege, it's because they want to defend someone who has made a remark toward their character. Excuse me, sorry, it's early in the morning. Right. I was just clearing. Yeah. Damaging their character, felt that they were insulted in some way. So it's based on their character. And when I was making reference to the bargaining chip amendment, she took it like I was attacking her character, which it totally wasn't. But it's her MO to speak over anybody else who's trying to speak on the session.
Who's MO? Who's MO, Senator?
Speaker?
Vice Speaker or Speaker?
Oh, Vice Speaker. Okay. Vice Speaker. We all saw that last year at the beginning of the term, where she wouldn't let anybody speak when they're on the floor. She would always interrupt, use point of personal privilege, and use point of information, which point of information is to provide information, not debate on somebody's comments. So she's at it again. It's her amendment. So when somebody says something, she's using point of personal privilege, which has nothing to do. She was out of order. And the speaker, of all people, should know better. She's the presiding officer. She's supposed to know the difference between a point of privilege and point of information. And she allows, every time a Republican says anything, she cuts us off and saying, no, you're out of order. But when somebody else does it on the Democrat side, and it's obviously during yesterday's debate, she was allowing Senator Nelson to continue to, use the point of personal privilege when it doesn't even exist in her comments. So it was out of order. Anyways, the last section of it was when she did when she was ending on her amendment, she attacked my character. That's when I, came out and used the point of personal privilege correctly, because she was making a reference because that I'm using Lysol when I come into the session floor. I wipe my table down. I have my hand sanitizer right next to me, my Clorox wipes, and then I spray my chair, everything that in there on Lysol. I'm being very, very careful. I have to. It's not just for myself. It's for my father, who I'm his only, child here on Guam to care for. And for her to attack me because I'm being careful, like you said, right, Sabrina? We have to wash our hands, make sure we're all taken care of, not just for ourselves, but everybody else that surrounds us. We're doing our part in the community. And for her to attack me for doing that on the floor, now that was not called for.
Point of personal privilege, Senator.
Right, exactly. And
I know I had a point of...
And when I started to state my point of personal privilege, the speaker decides to cut me off.
Yeah. I mean, but it's partisan politics. We've seen it how they, with Senator Moylan, with all the Republicans, it never seemed to get the time of day. But I think people watch and they see it and they know that Speaker Tina gavels the minority and gavels not just the minority. I mean, there are Democrat senators that she runs a gavel on.
Yeah, Therese Terlahi.
And Sabina Paris, maybe. Right?
Yeah, maybe Sabina. Not so much Sabrina, but.
But point of personal privilege, Senator, I gotta say that we do the exact same thing when we come in here. We Lysol everything, and I don't have a 91-year-old father, but we're all taking these precautions. So I'm not sure what that was about. And we're seeing it in the comments. I mean, people want you guys to stop fighting, but I mean, you can't just sit there and take stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. And for Talena's startup, and if you hear every time someone tries to speak on something, she always interrupts. It's like she's having a temper tantrum, a spoiled tantrum, and she needs to stop. She needs to grow up, is what she needs to do.
I want to talk about the amendment
right.
and the issues you had with it, because when I was watching, I thought the bill was about curfew, and then all of a sudden we're hearing these different amendments. So what in particular had you going about this amendment and why you were calling it a bargaining chip?
Absolutely. I had the same premonition when the amendment first came out. Are we on the same bill? This was totally different, out of left field. And I was wondering why it took so long for the break to come, because she had an amendment going that, okay, this is what's happening. She wants to either, one, try and find a way for people to vote for this bill, this curfew bill, or two, put a bargaining chip in the bill to make it look another reason for us to all vote for this bill. But it all boils down to, okay, we will give the governor the authority to have curfew and shelter in place, which was ridiculous, if she gives us all this information. It's a total bargaining chip. I mean, we do that with our own kids, right? Okay, clean, do the dishes and everything, and then I'll let you go take the car out or what.
Yeah, a little bit of a different situation. This one's like, do this, do that, do this, and we'll let you put on a curfew. Those pesky human beings.
Exactly. So it's a total bargaining chip, for the governor, and finding a way for all the other senators to vote for this bill. There's quite a bit of senators who already stated they're not supporting this bill.
Right. So what's the score on that? I mean, it seemed like they were just Senator Shelton's support dropping off like flies yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened more, the recesses or senators dropping their support.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I can't speak for everybody, but I know that none of the Republican, at least the 4 Republican senators are not voting for this bill for sure. And I can tell you that but I don't know on the. Oh well, of course, Tito Terlahi is not voting for it, as well as Joe San Augustine taking their name off. So people are following suit, and I'm just hoping today, after all these comments are coming in, that they will take this bill and put it back to the Committee of the Rules and leave it there. And like I said yesterday, if this was so important for the governor to have, then why didn't she create a legislation or write a bill and send it down and call us into special session if it was so important for her?
I know. And I wanted to ask about when it was first, I think it was set aside Monday, I think, by Senator Amanda Shelton. She said that they were, waiting for legal clarification. Did that ever come? Was there any legal clarification on both these bills?
I didn't see anything. Nothing was brought to our attention from the Attorney General at all, or from the Governor's legal counsel.
Okay. And what about the legislature's? Nothing from the legislature's legal counsel?
No, nothing at all from them as well. What was surprising was the shelter in place order. That doesn't make it. Shelter in place is basically if there's a shooter in the area, everybody stop where you are and stay where you are. And that's shelter in place. There are three different categories of shelter in place. Well, not categories of shelter in place, but 3 different categories that some states are using. One of them is shelter in place, stay at home order, and the one that the governor has put, which is social isolation, which is actually the lowest of all. I'm surprised she didn't do stay-at-home order. But stay-at-home order and social isolation are pretty much more lenient. Allows people for essential workers to go out, to go to the grocery stores, things like that, But shelter in place is like, shoot her in the area, everybody stop, stay where you're at, whether you're home or not, wherever you're sitting at. So it didn't make sense for why she put shelter in place in that amendment that she made for her bill. So other than that, I think that I'm hoping today that this bill is sent back to the Committee on Rules, like Bill 334.
What is this going to do to the you guys' relationship, if any, with the governor moving forward? Because she went pretty hard yesterday at the press conference. She said, "Hey, on our social media, I guess they were snooping around everyone's social media, that they saw that people had violated her orders over the weekend, the Easter weekend, and she said that we're going to start seeing the effects of this in a couple weeks." And again, she made her case that, she needs these extra powers because people are just not listening. And I think she said something about human beings or anyway. So what do you guys think this is going to do to your relationship with the governor? Is that even a factor? Because she took this to the legislature thinking that her innies, the Democratic leadership, were just going to ram it through. And that totally didn't happen. And I think the reason why it didn't is because everybody was watching. Everybody was watching, and the conversation was about ventilators. The conversation was about local assistance. And I think Speaker Barnes kind of waited in her head, like, if we go hard on what the governor wants and ram it through, a la FESPAC or whatever, the political repercussions are just going to be too damaging. I don't know.
Chris, I don't even know what kind of relationship we have. The last time we heard from her was over 3 weeks ago, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. We haven't heard from her since. She hasn't called us into a meeting. And then when she provided Ricky Hernandez, David Delasolo, along with Director Shimzu, to a Zoom conference that lasted, a half an hour or a little over a half an hour, we couldn't even answer questions, and that was the extent of it. So I don't know what kind of relationship we had in the first place, at least for the four of us. We're not invited to the table. And during a crisis like this, everybody should come together. I mean, that's what she keeps touting. And even the speaker keeps touting. We should all come together. And we're in a crisis right now. They're not including everybody. They're excluding people from this. So I don't know if it's going to make a difference to whatever relationship we do have. But I do know one thing, that the government needs to give us some information for us, information that we all are asking for, and not hiding it or keeping it to herself for some reason. It doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. So this is, I guess, I don't know what else to say. We are kind of frustrated in the legislature right now, but I think that we just need to, like I said, work together. But unfortunately, I'm not going to stop trying. I'm definitely not going to stop trying. So, and I will look at everything, cross my T's and dot my I's, and I will call out people who I feel is more damaging than help.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways.
Do you know where we can get copies of the amendments to the bill? Because I'm trying to find them online, and I'm not sure where. I'm on the... Technically, they're not... I don't think they're online. What we're doing is we're using Google's Doc to share amongst the senators that are emailed to the senators. But that's a good point. These amendments should be downloaded on the website to allow some transparency. And I will bring that up. I'll bring that up to the clerk when I get in the morning to find a way that the media and the community can also follow along with these amendments as they come out. But then again, during regular session, these amendments are not visibly out online or anything like that during or at least the ones that are adopted. It would be nice to be able to follow along, but.
Yeah, please. Well, please see. I'll be happy to have my staff send you any kind of amendments that you need at all. Just give me a WhatsApp, a text, and I'll be happy to send it to you even in real time too as we go along.
Connect.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Can you spray it down with Lysol before you send it?
Hey. He's out of order, isn't he?
I'm out of order. Point of personal privilege.
Point of personal. No, I'll be happy to do that safely by doing it online.
Yeah.
All right.
Which we should have been online, so we don't have to go through this. I think there would be less stress if we were all online doing it on Zoom. But again, we're not running the show. We got someone in there who. Well, anyways.
No, please, Minority Leader, you said so much. I don't know why you're holding back now.
Well,
all right. Well, good luck
save
today.
it for 9 o'clock.
Hey, but
emergency session.
You know what? That's right. I'll save it for another time. As we move on. I think I said enough actually this time around. And
but how does it go, Minority?
No, you're saying how you feel.
Yeah,
like
Senator,
you said, you're fighting for the people. So.
Let me ask you. So after that, then you guys go at each other. What's it like afterwards? When you're walking out. I mean, are you guys bobbing each other, or is it just part of the? I'm just curious.
Well, of course. A bigger person would just, brush it off the shoulder, walk out, say goodbye, everyone, and leave. But unfortunately, there's a whole lot of those in the legislature. So yeah, they do. They tend to, bother you as you walk out. And
wow.
So unfortunately, but then again, like I said, especially, and I will. Okay, now I'm going to say it. Especially those who have no respect for anybody else and start having temper tantrums on the floor just because they, people don't like what they're putting out there. Yeah, those especially are very childish and continue to be.
Can we get some names?
Nelson.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I'm sure I have to say it. If anybody was watching yesterday, then you'll see it yourself, And a
lot of people are watching. I keep track of how many people watch the legislature's live feed and non-COVID times, and I think some of you guys see this and you're like, oh, I'm going to do some funny business because no one's watching. The viewership's way down, but now, like I said, everyone's staying home. We got nothing else to focus on but you guys, so...
Yeah. And I appreciate all those individuals who have been sending us emails and letters and texts, and it helps. Considering we can't have public hearing or anybody to voice on this legislation, and it becomes very difficult for us to even make decisions without the public input. So I really greatly appreciate people taking the time to email it, myself at least. And let me know how they feel about it. And
well, I know that you actually mentioned it on session floor. There was a letter that you had received regarding this new custom and quarantine policy.
Actually, there was one comment I made about a constituent calling about a custom, and the other one was talking about the Bill 335 and 334. And that was just a letter that really touched my heart. That I read a portion of that letter on the air. I mean, it said it all, from the exhaustion of our own public safety officers out there, and that everyone is doing their part and staying at home. The roadblocks are working, and it was just a well-written letter, and I felt compelled to do it. In fact, again, it really surprised me because after I did do that, probably a couple hours later, I received an email from the same person thanking me for reading it, that now she has more confidence in the government that her voice is really being heard out there. So it was very heartwarming to hear that.
Okay, Minority Leader. Thank you so much for your time, Senator Telo, and good luck today.
Okay, everybody, create a great day.
All right, we'll see you at 9.
Okay.
Okay,
all right.
Then. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, bye.
7 o'clock, we're KUAM FM in Hagåtña, Guam. That was Minority Leader Senator Telo Taitague. And so curious about the status of, these bills. I mean, we know the status, but reach